Hi everybody. Today is Thursday of Spirit Week and today is Hat Day, which is why I'm wearing my Buffalo Bills hat. So if you have a favorite hat, put it on while you're doing your schoolwork to participate in Spirit Week. Today I thought we'd do some listening practice. It's important that we are good at communicating through speaking to people and through writing. But just as important as talking to someone, it's very important to listen to them. That's why we have 2 ears and only one mouth, right? We need to listen sometimes twice as hard or twice as much as we talk when we're communicating with other people. So practicing our listening skills is definitely an important thing. And so today we're going to, first of all, you're going to be creating a mind map. And I will show you what I mean by that in just a moment. Then you're going to listen to me read a short selection from Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul. And you are going to take notes on your mind map as you listen. Then underneath the video, in the comments section, you're just going to jot down 3 things that you wrote down in your notes, so that I know that you participated in the activity. And you will get credit for that. So you don't have to go to a Google Docs or anything like that. It doesn't even have to be in complete sentences today. I just want to know three things that you wrote down as you listened. So I'm going to show you what I mean, actually, by a mind map. The title of the selection that we're going to be reading today is My Big Brother. So on a sheet of paper, it can even be just a sheet of scrap paper that you have at home. You're going to write a bubble, like in the center of the page, and these bubbles need to be pretty big so that you can fit your notes inside the bubbles. So in the center bubble, you're going to write the title of the selection, which is My Big Brother. My is capitalized, big is capitalized, brother is capitalized, with quotation marks at the beginning and end because it's the title of an article. And then in these little bubbles surrounding that middle bubble, that's where you're going to jot down your notes. I'd like you to start with 5 bubbles, and your goal would be to fill up those 5 bubbles with things that you are listening to, important information. The nice thing about this type of graphic organizer is it's very easy to draw on your own. And if you get your 5 bubbles filled up, it's very easy to add another bubble as you go, as you listen, add another bubble here, and so on. And when you practice this enough, you can get to the point where you've got bubbles, bubbles, bubbles all over the page, and you've pretty much filled up the whole page with important information. But it takes a while to get there. It takes some practice. So we're just at a starting point today. And all I'm asking is that you try to get something written down in those 5 bubbles after you create this graphic organizer. So once you've got your graphic organizer down, you're going to listen to me as I read, and you're going to be taking notes. Some things to consider when you're taking notes as you listen: you do not need to worry about copying every single thing down that I said. That's pretty much impossible. And that's kind of the trick. You've got to figure out what's the most important information as I'm listening. So important information for something that I'll be reading to you today, for example, might be names of people, maybe main events that occur in the story as you're listening, places that might be important, maybe there are dates or times that could be important. What are the problems and how are those problems resolved, if they are resolved at all? So some of those things you can be thinking about as you go. Don't try to write everything down that I say. You do not need to write incomplete sentences when you're taking notes as you listen. You do not need to worry about spelling. Just do your best. And as long as when you read it back, it makes sense to you, that's all that matters when you're taking notes in a case like this. You are allowed to abbreviate or shorten words if you would like to. Just make sure that if you're shortening words, that it makes sense to you when you go back to read your notes. Finally, if you miss something important, don't worry about it, because what I'm going to ask you to do is, once you've taken your notes on your mind map as you're listening the first time, go back and replay the video and listen to it a second time if you feel like you need to. So in this case, it's on a video and you can just go back and replay and listen to it again. So don't get frustrated if while you're jotting down one thing, you hear something else and then get really frustrated and just shut down. Just listen to it again if you need to. And I think that's about it. So here we go. I'm going to read the selection to you. It's a short one. It's called My Big Brother. I never thought the absence of smelly socks and loud music would make my heart ache. But my brother is off at college, and at age 14, I miss him terribly. We share a rare kind of closeness for siblings, but then my brother is a rare kind of guy. Of course, he's smart and kind, plus my friends say he's cute and all that, but it's more how he handles things, how he treats his friends and his family, how he cares about people that makes me so proud. That's the stuff that I aspire to. If it's okay with you, I would like to show you what I mean. He applied to 14 colleges. He was accepted to all but the one he really wanted, which was Brown University. So he opted for his second choice, and off he went to a fine and uneventful first year. When he came home for summer vacation, he informed us that he had come up with a plan. He was going to do whatever it took to get into Brown. Would we support him? His plan was to move to Rhode Island near Brown, find a job, and do whatever he could to become known in the area. He'd work his heart out, he said, and do the very best he could at everything. Someone, he was sure, would notice. This was a big deal for my parents because it meant agreeing to a year without college, a scary thing for them. But they trusted him and encouraged him to do whatever he thought it would take to achieve his dream. It wasn't long before he was hired to produce the plays at, yes, you guessed it, Brown. Now was his chance to shine, and shine he did. No task was too big or too small. He put every bit of himself into the job. He met teachers and administrators, talked to everyone about his dream, and never hesitated to tell them what he was after. And sure enough, at the end of the year, when he reapplied to Brown, he was accepted. We were all really happy, but for me, the happiness went very deep. I had learned an important lesson, a lesson no one could have taught me with words, a lesson I had to see with my own eyes. If I work hard for what I want, if I keep trying after I've been turned away, my dreams also can come true. This is a gift I still hold in my heart. Because of my brother, I trust life. Recently, I flew to Rhode Island all by myself to visit him, and I had a blast hanging out for a week in an apartment without parents. The night before I left, we were talking about all kinds of stuff, like friends, peer pressure, and school. At one point, my brother looked me right in the eye and said he loved me. He told me to remember to never do anything that I feel isn't right, no matter what, and never to forget that I can always trust my heart. I cried all the way home, knowing that my brother and I will always be close and realizing how lucky I am to have him. Something was different. I didn't feel like a little girl anymore. Part of me had grown up on this trip, and for the first time, I thought about the important job that I had waiting for me at home. You see, I have a 10-year-old little sister. It looks as though I've got my work cut out for me, but you know, I had a great teacher. And the author is Lisa Gumernick. So hopefully you've got something jotted down in each of those 5 boxes. If not, listen to it again and get those 5 boxes done, and just leave me 3 things that you wrote in your notes in the comment section after this video. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Thank you for doing your best. See you tomorrow.